Hi everyone! Due to the large-scale social restrictions, our meetings have to be done online. Hopefully, you can fully concentrate and study enthusiastically even though you are studying at home. Before we start our lesson, I would like to ask you several questions about your grandmother. What was your grandmother like? Did she put on a pair of glasses? Did she use a walking stick to walk? What do you remember most about her? Her home-baked cake, cookie, or the dishes she cooked? Did your grandmother have a pet? Do you remember when you last visited her? And what is the most important lesson that your grandmother taught you? Hopefully, you remember all the lessons that your granny has told you. Now, let's continue our lesson by opening the textbook on page 4. You're going to listen and read a text of which the title is What My Grandmother Means to Me. While you listen and read, I'm going to highlight some difficult vocabularies and give you the meaning. Hopefully, it will help you comprehend the text well. Please write down the meaning because it's going to help you with the exercise you're going to do later on.
What my grandmother means to me. Today is my dear grandmother's 80th birthday, so I thought it was a perfect day to conjure up memories of my time spent with her. And I love and admire about her. The first thing people notice about her is her diminutive stature. She's tiny and getting smaller. Apparently, she once reached the dizzy heights of 1.5 meters, and I remember shooting past her at the age of 12. She may be short, but she's always possessed an iron will. If she doesn't want to do something, she simply puts her foot down and refuses. I'm sure this is where I get my obstinate nature from. I am always flattered when her friends tell me that I remind them of her. And I hope I will be as unprejudiced as she is when I reach the ripe old age of 80. Not many people of her generation would have reacted as she did when I told her I was taking a year out of my studies to backpack around the world. She did not bat an eyelid but nodded in approval and told me she thought I'd have a wonderful time. Even though my grandmother is in her 80s, mentally she's still very sharp. I was so proud of her when she learned to use the internet so that she could keep in touch with me when I was traveling abroad. I've always been touched by the fantastic presents she buys me. She's considerate and kind and always finds the ideal gift. She's suffered many hardships over the years, more than her fair share: a lost baby, the death of a brother in the war, Granddad's long illness. She doesn't have a bad word to say about anybody. Mind you, she can be wonderfully irreverent at times, especially on the subject of politics. I've often thought that the world would be a better place with somebody as down to earth as she is in charge. I love her colorfully cluttered home, which always smells of the latest home-baked treats. When I go round now, I still expect to hear the cheerful sound of her faithful little dog scuttling to the door. When he passed away suddenly a few years ago, she must have been heartbroken, but as always, she put on a brave face and got on with it. I love her unassuming manner and the way she always sees the best in people. I'm thankful for the miracle of DNA, which means I've inherited some of the traits of my beloved grandmother. A small lady with an enormous heart.
As you have finished reading the text, please do some exercises from the textbook. Please go to the back cover of the book, go to Word Store 1 on page 3, then do Word Store 1A until 1D. Then, go back to the textbook on page 5, then do part 6, 8, and 11. Your exercise will be discussed next meeting. See you later in the next video.